Good afternoon, Maura.
Good afternoon, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for asking. Look, thanks for joining us today. We're just here to review your professional learning plan, and we just want to hear your reflections on your development as a beginning teacher. So the session will run in three parts. You'll have your 5-minute presentation, followed by two discussion prompts. Each of those will have their own sort of detailed response with those. So whenever you're ready, you may start your 5-minute presentation.
Okay, amazing. Well, firstly, thank you for meeting with me today. I appreciate it. I'll begin by sharing my teaching philosophy and the professional learning plan that I've developed as part of my ongoing growth as a beginning teacher. So, my teaching philosophy is grounded in relational, responsive, and reflective practice. I believe students learn best when they feel safe, respected, and appropriately challenged. I aim to create learning environments where students experience belonging, effort is recognised, and growth is encouraged. Teaching carries both professional and ethical responsibility, and I'm committed to designing learning that is inclusive, differentiated, and supportive of diverse needs. This aligns with research showing that effective teaching requires strong professional judgment and an understanding of how students learn. I'll talk about the importance of ongoing professional learning now. So, as a developing teacher, ongoing professional learning is essential. Teaching requires constant adaptation. Our students change, our context change, and our understanding of effective practice continues to evolve. Professional learning strengthens judgment, responsiveness, and confidence, I find. Timberley emphasizes that teachers grow most when they inquire into their practice, engage with evidence, and reflect deliberately on impact. Feedback and collaboration also play a crucial role in improving practice as well. For me, professional learning isn't about perfection, it's about purposeful, sustainable growth aligned with APST 6. So I have identified an area for improvement being differentiation. The area I have identified for improvement is differentiation. In my current permit to teach role in a year 5 class, I've noticed a clear pattern. Some students will complete tasks very quickly while others are unsure on even how to begin. This variation in readiness levels has highlighted the need for more proactive differentiation so students are supported before they even reach the point of needing extensive help. My mentor feedback came from my previous placement in year 2 or in a year 2 class where I was told that I'm very good at juggling the rest of the class whilst also working one-on-one with small groups. That feedback showed me that I can manage reactive support effectively, but my current year 5 experience has shown me that I need to strengthen my proactive planning so fewer students get stuck in the first place. Tomlinson argues that differentiation is essential for equity because students vary in readiness, interests, and learning profiles. This helped me recognize that fairness isn't about giving every student the same thing, it's about giving each student what they need to access learning. I will now present my professional learning plan and my SMART goal. So, my SMART goal is that by the end of this next school year, I will strengthen my differentiation practice by implementing evidence based strategies, designing tiered tasks, and using formative assessment to adjust instruction. Formative assessment plays a key role in this, and Black and William highlight that assessment for learning is one of the most powerful ways to adjust instruction responsively. I will evaluate impact through student work samples, mental feedback, and ongoing reflection aligned again with APST 6. So, the strategies and actions to achieve this, I will engage with academic readings, observe colleagues who differentiate effectively, and participate in school based learning, professional learning, sorry. In the classroom, I will trial tiered tasks, choice boards, scaffolded supports, and quick formative checks to identify readiness levels. These strategies help ensure tasks are accessible while still offering an appropriate challenge for students. I will also seek regular feedback from my mentor and reflect using APST 6.1 through to 6.3 to refine my approach. Evidence-informed adjustments are essential for improving student outcomes. At my school, we actually have a coaching program where various teachers will go around and they will actually coach you, which is amazing. Alrighty, so professional networks and resources that I hope to use to become my best teaching self is I will draw on professional networks, including my mentor teacher, my stage team. At the moment, I have 4 in my year team, which is amazing, and even more, obviously, in my stage team. EDES302 resources, professional associations, and the EDES302 reading list, so that academic literature. These networks support reflective dialogue, shared problem solving, and ongoing growth. Professional learning communities help reduce isolation and strengthen collective expertise, which is essential for early careers teachers. Again, with that coaching program, I think that will be really beneficial. So the expected impact I am hoping it will have on both teaching and learning. So the expected impact of this plan is improved student engagement, more equitable access to learning, and smoother lessons with fewer students stuck at task entry. So strengthening my differentiation practices will support both student wellbeing and my own sustainability as a teacher by reducing reactive support and increasing proactive planning. Clear learning progressions and responsive teaching significantly improves student outcomes as well. So, professional identity and sustainability. Differentiation also supports sustainable professionalism by reducing student frustration and teacher stress. Growth requires reflection, humility, and openness, and this learning goal aligns with the teacher I want to become: responsive, ethical, reflective, and student-centered, really at the base of it. This reflects the broader expectation that teachers continually refine their practice through reflection and professional learning. And then finally, I have my references.
That's wonderful, Maura. Your first prompt is thinking about your presentation. What experiences or evidence led you to identify this goal as your priority area for professional learning?
The biggest influence on choosing differentiation as my learning goal has come from my current experience in my Year 5 Permit to Teach class. Being in the classroom every day has given me a really clear picture of how differently students approach learning. One of the first things I noticed was how varied their readiness levels were. Some students begin tasks confidently and finish quickly, while others get stuck right at the beginning and need a lot of support just to get started. This wasn't something I saw once or twice. It became a consistent pattern across the subjects and across different types of tasks. That variation made me realize that I needed to strengthen my proactive differentiation so students have the right entry points before they reach the point of needing extensive help. What stood out to me most was how predictable the pattern became. I could almost anticipate which students would finish quickly and which students would struggle to begin. And even though I was supporting them as best I could, I realized that I was often responding reactively, again, stepping in once students were already stuck, rather than planning proactively so they could access the learning from the start, if that makes sense. That was a big moment of reflection for me, particularly being a first year Permit to Teach teacher, because it made me think about how I could design tasks differently so students didn't reach that stuck point in the first place. Another important influence was my mentor feedback, which actually came from my previous prac in my Year 2 class. My mentor told me that I was very good at juggling the rest of the class while also supporting small groups or individuals. That feedback showed me that I can manage reactive support well. I can step in, help students who are struggling, and keep the rest of the class moving. But now that I'm teaching Year 5, I've realized that relying on reactive support isn't sustainable. The needs are more complex, the tasks are more demanding, and students expect more independence. So that year 2 feedback helped me recognize a strength, but my year 5 experience showed me that I need to build on that strength by becoming more proactive in my planning. I also spent time looking closely at student work samples. When I compared the work of students who started confidently with those who struggled, I noticed big differences in how much they were able to produce and how independently they worked. Some students were able to engage with the task straight away, like I've mentioned, while others needed repeated clarification or reassurance. That was a really important piece of evidence for me because it showed that the issue wasn't just about behavior or confidence, it was about access to the learning itself. If students don't have the right entry point, they can't engage meaningfully with the task. Another piece of evidence came from observing how students behaved during our transitions. Students who understood the task moved smoothly into the activity, while students who were unsure tended to hesitate, look around, or wait for help. That hesitation often created a ripple effect. It slowed down the lesson, increased the number of students needing support at once, and made the learning environment feel less calm and less efficient. That really highlighted for me how important proactive differentiation is for classroom flow and student confidence. All of these experiences together made it clear that differentiation is an area where I can grow. It's something that will help me support students more equitably, reducing frustration for both students and myself, and make my teaching more sustainable. Choosing this as my professional learning goal wasn't just about improving one aspect of my teaching, it was about improving the overall learning experience for my students and creating a classroom environment where everyone can access the learning from the start.
Perfect. That's wonderful. So your second prompt is if you were reviewing your progress in 12 months' time, what evidence would demonstrate that you had successfully achieved your professional learning goals?
Um, okay, so if I were reviewing my progress in 12 months, I would expect to see several clear indicators that my differentiation practice was improved. One of the biggest pieces of evidence would be student work samples. I'd expect to see more consistency in how students begin tasks, fewer students stuck at the starting point, and more students producing work that reflects appropriate challenge for them. I'd also hope to see growth in students who previously struggled with task entry, evidence that the scaffold and tiered supports I've been using are actually helping them access the learning. Another important indicator would be classroom engagement. I'd expect smoother lessons, quicker transitions, and fewer students waiting for help because tasks are better matched to their readiness levels in that case. When differentiation is working well, students can engage more independently, and that creates a calmer, more productive learning environment. I'd also expect to see more students participating confidently in discussions or activities because they feel more capable of accessing the content, which would be amazing. I'd also look at how students respond emotionally to learning. Students who feel supported are capable tend to show more confidence, take more risks, engage more willingly.
Yep.
If my differentiation strategies are effective, I'd expect to see students showing more independence, asking more purposeful questions, and demonstrating more independence, asking more purposeful questions, and demonstrating more ownership, I guess, over their learning. These behavioral shifts are subtle but incredibly meaningful when evaluating progress. Mentor or colleague feedback would also be a key source of evidence over the year. I hope to hear that my learning design is more responsive, that my tasks show clear differentiation, and that students are receiving appropriate levels of challenge and support. Observations or informal feedback during planning meetings would help confirm that my practice has shifted in a meaningful way. I'd also hope that colleagues notice smoother lessons, more confident students, and clearer learning progressions. My own reflections would also play a big role, I believe. I'd expect to see patterns in my reflective notes where I'm making more deliberate decisions about scaffolding, adjusting tasks based on formative assessment, and anticipating student needs rather than reacting to them. I'd hope to see fewer reflections about students being stuck at the beginning of tasks and more reflections um, about students engaging confidently and independently. And then finally, I'd look at how sustainable my teaching feels. If differentiation is working well, I should feel less pressure, hopefully, during lessons because students are more able to engage independently. That sense of smoother lessons and reduced reactive support would be a strong indicator that my professional learning has had a positive impact. Teaching should feel more manageable, more predictable, and more rewarding, I believe. And
Yep.
that would be one of the clearest signs that I've achieved my goal. Together, these forms of evidence, student work, engagement, mentor feedback, reflective notes, student confidence, and my own sense of sustainability would demonstrate that I've made meaningful progress toward my professional learning goal.
Lovely. That's awesome. Look, that concludes our review for today. Yeah, we hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your time.
No
Bye.
worries. Pleasure. See ya.